I read an article yesterday about how the mortgage rates have led to a split screen in housing, and I couldn't agree more. It was written by Scott Horsley, and he was addressing the national real estate market, but we see a lot of the same things here in the Twin Cities, plus some weirdness. Today, I'm going to give you an update on the real estate market in the Minneapolis area and how we compare to the rest of the country. I'm Mary Schumann. I'm a realtor here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and I work in the trenches of real estate day in and day out, literally 7 days a week. I want to give you my local spin on the national headlines, plus a glimpse into the last few transactions that I've had and how they compare to these headlines and what people are saying. I also do a lot of community profiles, so if you are trying to decide if this is the right place for you, think about subscribing and check out my playlist of neighborhoods and suburbs. The article, and I'll link to that down in the description box so you can read it if you want to, lists 5 ways that the higher interest rates have affected the market nationwide. But I'll let you know what that means here in the Twin Cities. So number 1 was that some buyers are priced out by the higher interest rates. No surprise. The current interest rates at over 7% mean a monthly payment on a $300,000 loan is now about $330 more than it was last summer. And that can smart a little bit for people and make it hard for them to buy. Number 2 is that sellers are sidelined too. Interest rates do affect both sides of the equation. Sales of existing homes nationwide are down by 17%, thanks to almost 92% of mortgages being under 6% interest right now. 82% of mortgage holders have a rate of less than 5% per Redfin, and that's a lot of people that don't want to refinance into a new higher rate or pay more for the same loan size and not be able to get an equivalent home. People really need a good reason to move. Since I work with a lot of people relocating to Minnesota, I have been seeing people coming here with a lot of equity that they have accumulated in homes that they're selling in a different area of the country. And they're getting a great price because these are more expensive areas, and they're bringing that equity here to Minnesota with a more reasonable cost of living here. They are taking advantage of the increased appreciation that they got on their home there and using that large chunk of equity to put down on a home here, and either paying cash. Over 50% of my recent buyers are cash at all price points from the low 100s to over 1.4 million, or having to finance a significantly smaller amount of their purchase than they would if they purchased a different home in their current location. This really helps keep their payment in line, and they can get a home they really want here. One of the great benefits of living in a major metropolitan area that doesn't have skyrocketing costs is that affordable choices in homes exist, especially if you're coming from one of these more expensive areas of the country. Another fun statistic is that 70% of homeowners have more than 50% equity in their homes. Axios and other sites say that the keys to loosening up inventory supply will actually have to come from new construction and homeowners that are without mortgages and deciding to sell. So people in this enviable position actually make up a surprisingly large portion of homeowners, 40%. And these are all kinds of people, but a lot of them are people that have managed to pay their mortgages off over time. And the recent transactions that I have had involved an estate sale on a free and clear home, and 2 sellers that had raised their families and no longer needed the large space that they had and were ready to take the equity from their paid off homes and put it into something smaller. Number 3 is that bidding wars are common. People unwilling to sell means that we have very low inventory, and there are still people needing homes. The few homes that are out there, and I mean few by the standards of how many people need one compared to how many are available, are oftentimes still seeing competing offers. And this is where I think it gets a little weird too. I've looked at a lot of homes this month, ranging in price from $130,000 condos to $700,000 single-family homes, and the reception that these listings get is spotty, and it's really hard to understand. There are a lot of condos on the market, so those are opportunities to be picky and maybe look for a deal. But even in this case, you'll see really nice units sit while others in the same building move in about a week or so. I looked at a top floor unit in St. Paul, and it had incredible views of the Capitol building and the St. Paul Cathedral, completely renovated, and it just wasn't moving. And then I also saw a $615,000 house in Woodbury that was jaw-dropping in condition. Just immaculate, gorgeous, well-decorated, and it had been on the market for a month. But another home very nearby to that one in Woodbury was, pretty nice. Tops and conditions, similar price, but not as pretty from a curb appeal standpoint. It went in multiple offers the second day on the market. Why? I don't know. Same area, similar home, similar price point. It's really hard to say what prompts that. I also looked at a 1960s split level in Plymouth, and it was really nice, not super updated or anything. That one had 3 offers out the gate. Nearby homes that look similar are just sitting there. Adding to this thought is that if the trend watchers are correct, things will continue to settle down, and the mortgage rates will also calm down to a more normal rate of around 5.5% to 6% within the next 6 months or so. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if this is true, but here is what I do know. We still have a very low inventory of homes here. It is estimated that builders would need about 10 years of building to catch up to the the demand. And low interest rates increase demand. So the bigger pool of buyers that can now afford to get into the game, you'll see more competing bids again. And if demand goes higher on limited inventory and there are a lot of competing bids for homes, that can only mean one thing, which is that prices are going to increase as well. So number 4 is new homes are in high demand, as I just said, which is great news for builders, and the big ones are offering incentives. I keep seeing emails from national builders like D.R. Horton offering a buy down on interest rates plus other incentives like contributions to closing costs and things like window blinds. With the supply chain issues mostly solved, costs to builders have gone down, and they are really cranking out the homes right now. In the Twin Cities, that means areas in the second ring suburbs and further out from that are seeing a building boom, and those are the places to look if you want new construction. Number 5 is that small is the new big. In the past couple of years with interest rates, people were going big when they went home. They could afford more house. Now with the decrease in affordability, we are seeing moderating expectations on what you can buy, and people are looking for smaller homes. The article pointed to the pandemic and kind of pushed the fact that people were spending a lot of time at home before, and now we're kind of back to business as usual, not doing that as much. So they could look for a smaller home. And I do think that that's partially true, but I also believe the bigger factor comes down to affordability and what your money can buy now. All right, so let's talk about median prices in the 7-county metro area. They are at $403,000 when you're taking into account all home types. The median price for a new construction home is $580,000. And the median price for previously owned homes is $385,000. We've been sitting at a steady 1.2 months worth of inventory for those previously owned homes since March. That is a seller's market. New construction is a buyer's market. It's got 6.2 months of supply. Now, I do want to add that this idea of 6.2 months of supply is going to be including things that builders have listed that may not even be dug yet. So there could be things that are being sold and have yet to even have a foundation dug. So take that with a grain of salt. These are not available homes necessarily. It does explain a lot about the incentives. They're trying to sell off these lots, sell off the under construction homes. If you are thinking about making a move to the Twin Cities and you have questions, I would love to talk to you because I love talking to people that meet me on YouTube. So please feel free to reach out. Have a great week.